Today's episode of As Far as I'm Concerned with Reese Ross is brought to you by Discounts and Deals, Roanoke's Premium Deals membership, the membership that lets you support all your local businesses, also save some money and have fun. Check them out at discountdealsroanoke.com. Become a member today. That's discountdealsroanoke.com. Become a member today. Save and have fun. As far as I'm concerned. What's good, people? It's your boy Reese Ross, and you are now listening to As Far as I'm Concerned. Today, I'm flying solo, trapped in the house by the snow, but it's all good. You know what I mean? So today, we're going to go over a couple emails that I received in the last couple weeks, give you my opinion, tell you what I think. If you like it, you like it. You don't, I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you, but I'm going to do it anyway. So let's go on and jump right into this. So the first email says, Dear Reese, hi, my name is Corey. I'm from Galax, Virginia. I'm a supporter from episode 1. Corey, I appreciate that. Says I got several of the t-shirts and currently waiting on my hoodie to arrive, so needless to say, I'm a fan. That's what's up. Corey says, I got a situation that I think is ripe for your opinion, so here it goes. I have a friend that is currently going through her thing with her kind of dude. I say kinda because at this point, they're just more friends with benefits, but she keeps telling me that she wants more. However, the white elephant in the room is that her friend is very, very married. I have made many indirect comments about how she needs to break it off with him, but in general, it turns into a fight between us, so I tend to leave it alone, but I hate seeing her get used by this asshat. Wait, first, that ain't right. Why you call dude the asshat? But anyway, it says, I decided not to interfere anymore, sorta. I started bringing one of my guy friends around that has interest in her and purposely setting up situations where they're alone or sitting next to each other or whatever. The problem is she has no idea that all this is on purpose by me, and I'm a little concerned that she might be pissed off if and when she finds out, since it's actually starting to work. I don't want it to turn into her hating me for doing it, but at least she's seeing less of the asshat. The question is, should I go ahead and tell her what's up now before her and my friend go any further, or should I just shut up and let it happen and play dumb? Thanks in advance, Corey. All right, Corey. So I think this is a situation that happens to a lot of people between friends. So your girlfriend has this cat she messing with, asshat as you call him. She got this cat she messing with, but dude is married, so it's obviously not going to go as far as what it sounds like your friend wants it to go. However, every time you try to say something to her about it, it turned into a fight between you and her. So you took it upon yourself to introduce your friend around her who already has interest in her, and I guess in hopes something would happen positive. So far, it looks like the positive that happened was she's starting to feel your friend and seeing less of the other dude, which I guess technically is a good thing. But now what you're wondering is, should you tell her what you did or just go on and let things be? And like you said, shut up and play dumb. Well, that's a big if. Because on the one hand, I can see what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep her from getting hurt. You're trying to set her with somebody else up that might be better, or at least get her away from the married dude. I understand that. That makes sense. But at the same time, especially with friends, man, that's tricky because she might be fully aware of what she's doing and not really care. Or she might not want to feel like everybody sees what she's doing to the point where they feel like they need to step in. I'm going to say, I'm assuming y'all been friends for a while. You didn't say how long, but I'm just going to assume that y'all real close. I'm going to say, wait a little while before you actually tell her what you did. Like, you can kind of ease into it, say little things that kind of, give her an idea of what might be going on. But overall, I don't see nothing wrong with what you're doing. I think if y'all are that close, she might be a little upset, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Truth of the matter is, all of us, myself included, sometimes we need somebody to step in and go, yo, you fucking up right now. And the problem is, not everybody gets that, because their friends or whoever, it's the same thing that you're going through. Like, they don't want to say nothing because they don't want anything to get started between them, which I understand that too. But which one is your friend going to appreciate more? Is she going to appreciate more that you just sit back and let it happen and let her make a mistake? Or is she going to appreciate more that, yo, my friend stepped in, seen that I was fucking up, tried to lead me into a way to correcting it, and I came out better in the end for it. So I think that's how you got to look at it. You know what I'm saying? One of the parts of you being a friend is you looking out for your friend. Sometimes you can see things that your friends can't see, and they need to be introduced to that vision in order to keep them on the right path. You know what I mean? So, Corey, in this case, I think that, yes, you should tell her. You don't have to tell her everything up front, ease her into what you've been doing, but also let her know and reassure you, yo, I got your back. The only reason I did this is because I seen what you was going through and I ain't like it, so I stepped in. And as far as I'm concerned, Corey, you doing the right thing, and that's what friends are supposed to do. You know what I mean? Having said that, Corey, I appreciate you writing in. I'm glad that you got some t-shirts. Your hoodie should be arriving at any day. Don't forget, I still got more merch coming out and shit like that. But make sure you keep writing in, keep giving me ideas, keep giving me your opinion. Like I said, we appreciate you. And look, y'all, like I was saying in response to Corey's email, yo, that's what your real friends are there for. To make sure you ain't fucking up and to point it out when you are. If you can't handle somebody telling you the truth, especially somebody that's close to you, then you really got a whole bunch of different problems that ain't nobody gonna be able to help you with. But I'm telling you, your real friends are the ones that's gonna step in and say something when you're doing something stupid. That's what they're there for. That's what you're there for, to do the same thing for them. So you gotta expect that. It might not always be what you like. And trust me, my friends are quick to point out some shit I'm doing that's stupid. But like I said, I might not like it when I hear it, but looking back on it, I know that was some shit I needed to hear or some shit I needed to see. And overall, I appreciate it. That's why the small group of friends that I have, I appreciate so much, because I know they'll tell me the truth. And that's always important. Keep that in mind. So anyway, we're going to jump to this next one. The next email says, Reese, what up, big homie? This is Danae from the Note. So I'm thinking already I know exactly who this is. But anyway, it says, first, let me say I'm sorry about the situation you going through, but I know you got it. Danae, not sure what situation you're talking about, but you're right. Either way, I got it. Says, I've been listening for the past few episodes and have been laughing my ass off, but I'm a little mad you haven't had me on yet. And then it says, we'll talk about that the next time I see you, though. Oh, so now you're threatening me. It says, so look, I found something out about one of my friends that I probably should say something about, but at the same time, I probably shouldn't say nothing about it. But since they don't know you, I'm about to get it off my chest and see what you think. Then she put a smiley face. Says, so I have my friend's phone. Let's call her L. So I had Elle's phone. She handed it to me to look at something she had Googled or something. I forget the reason, but while I had it, she started talking to someone else and a text came through on her phone. So I might have looked at it. I recognized who it was, no big deal, but my curiosity was piqued, so I scrolled through the text thread to see, just being nosy, seeing what they be talking about, only to discover a couple of what the fuck thing. Number one is how much shit Elle and this person talk about and behind the backs of all of our mutual friends, and then be smiling in their face all the time like it's cool. Then it says the second thing is, in between the two-faced sessions, a large exchange of basically sexting and a lot of nudes sent by Elle. Oh, shit. It says, now, even though this ain't my business, the issue is that I know his girlfriend and I know Elle's boyfriend. And while none of us are super close, we are all cool with one another. So here I am with this info that would definitely start a whole bunch of shit if it was found out. But I ain't supposed to know either, so I can't really say nothing. Then it says, Elle acts like she don't really care for this guy at all, but her text content says different. And he acts the same way about her in front of everybody, but I and now you know that ain't true. And then it says, I really want to say something to both of them because the shit ain't right, but I don't want to ruin our friendships overall. And then it says, what do you think I should do? Please help. Then it says, big love, Danae. Then it says, I keep seeing you at the gun store. You need to talk about something. Then it says, LMAO. First of all, let's start from the bottom. First of all, just because you see me at the gun store don't mean I'm going through something and that's why I'm there. That's something I enjoy doing, so you ain't got nothing to worry about. I ain't gonna go crazy. I ain't gonna do what everybody think I'm gonna do. But nah, like, ain't nothing going on with me that I can't handle, so ain't nothing to worry about there. But let's get back to you and this issue with your friend Elle. So to sum it up, you had her phone, text message came through, you was being nosy and shit, looked at the text thread, seeing her and this dude was talking shit about everybody y'all know. But then you also seen they was sexing and seen Elle been sending a bunch of nudes to this dude. Looks like the problem with you is you know both his girlfriend and her boyfriend, and you don't think the shit is right that they even doing it. Both of them try to act like they don't like each other, but this is obviously not what the situation is. So you asking me, what do I think you should do, whether you should say something to both of them or whether you should just keep quiet about it. This is a lot like the email I just read from Corey, where you got a friend seeing something that they know is not right, and they're in a dilemma where they want to step in and say something to stop the shit, but at the same time, there's some shit you ain't supposed to know about at all. So, number one, if you say something, you gotta open up a bunch of shit about you, which is, you know what I'm saying, you broke Elle's trust immediately by going through her phone, reading her text messages and shit. That's a lot of trust broken right there. Like, I'll hand somebody my phone, but if I hand somebody my phone, it's with the expectation that the only thing you're going to look at on my phone is what I'm showing you on my phone. Even if I turn my back, I don't give a fuck if I'm gone for an hour and you still got my phone. My expectation is for you not to invade my privacy and start looking at who I'm talking to and what we saying and what nudes got sent to me and all that shit. Like, you're going to have to open that up about you if you say something. That's the first thing. The second thing is, like, unless you know for sure, for a fact, what both of their relationship situations are, like, you know they're in relationships, but you got to think about it. Like, do you know whether those relationships are going good? Like, do you know if those relationships are basically over and they just getting ahead of it, starting to talk to somebody else? Like, you got to consider that too, because yes, you know that both of them are in relationships, but what you don't know, or at least what you didn't say that you know, is both of those relationships are going great. There's no problems there. There's no end in sight for them. Like, they could literally both be about to get rid of or be gotten rid of whoever they with. So you got to consider that too. On the other hand, I do think it's funny that you seen that shit, and I do think it's funny that you seen that your girl been sending nudes to this dude. So first thing I'm gonna say is, we here, as far as I'm concerned, need to know the quality of said nudes that was sent. So if you could send us copies of those, we appreciate them. We'll make some decisions based on that as well. So let's start with your girl. Let's start with Elle. So you know Elle got a boyfriend, but she talking to this dude, and so the first thing is, you said that she act like she don't care about this dude or whatever, but ain't that how it always is? Especially when it's it's a group of people. When somebody feeling somebody, they don't make it, I'll say most people, don't make it obvious that they feeling that other person for a lot of reasons. Number one, because you got nosy ass people that look through your phone and shit, and that's how people start talking. So everybody ain't open like that. Some people like to be private about what they doing until it's somebody else's business, which most of the time it's not. But then also, it sounds like the whole thing might be new to her too. So yes, she might be doing all this extra stuff, but that don't really mean nothing. People get real uppity when you talk about somebody sexting or sending pictures or whatever. And the truth of the matter is, we all adults, you know what I'm saying? So, and this is going to be unpopular, but I'm going to say it anyway. You ain't really doing nothing until you doing something, you know what I mean? Now, is it right that they doing this and both of them in relationships? No, that's not what I'm saying. But at this point, as far as you know and as far as we know, because we just speculating at this point, but at this point, they're not actually doing anything. They conversating. It happened. Now, what they conversating about or what they planning on doing, that's a whole different thing. But at this point, as far as everybody knows, they just conversating. Some pictures got sent or whatever. Okay, whatever. It happens. You know what I mean? Like, that still doesn't mean that they doing something yet. And I'm not taking up for them. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's all it is right now. And as far as him, I'm sure, I'm thinking that this is a group of friends that know each other well enough to know, hey, this person got a boyfriend, this person got a girlfriend, this is who they with, this is who they with. That's what I'm assuming this situation is. So I can't really say that neither one of them knew the other one had somebody. So that does put them in the wrong for the most part. But you also got to wonder too, like, are you the only person to know about this? Or is one of them sharing with somebody a little bit closer to them, hey, I've been talking to such and such, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think, at this point, what I really think you should do, I'm sorry, you know I love you, mind your fucking business. You know what I mean? Like, stay out of other people's shit, worry about your shit instead of worrying about somebody else's, because ultimately, where does it get you by saying something? Like, what's the benefit of that? There's not going to be any benefit. The only thing that's going to happen is immediately Elle's not going to trust you anymore. I don't know how much she trusts you now, but like I said before, in order for you to say something about this, then you have to admit what you did to find out about this. So immediately you're putting your friendship in jeopardy because if she's like anybody else, she's immediately going to lose all trust for you. You know, that leads to, like, slowly stopping talking to you, sharing less things with you, doing less things with you. And you gotta think, like, is that really worth you saying something about something that ain't none of your fucking business in the first place? So, while you do have this information, you should keep your mouth closed, leave it alone, ain't your problem, ain't your issue. It ain't affecting you in either way. I mean, you might feel some kind of way because it's happening and you feel like it shouldn't be, but overall, it's not affecting your life in any kind of way. So there's no use in getting a bunch of shit started over something that ain't all that important to begin with, that don't have anything to do with you. That's my opinion on that. Having said all that, because I do know you, I can say this. Everybody got things going on. The things I got going on ain't the obvious shit that you think. You know what I mean? Like, I've got plenty going on, but like I said before, none of it's things that I can't handle. So you ain't got to worry about me. Like I keep saying, man, the more you deal with people, the more you talk to people, the easier it is to find out who you actually dealing with. Look, I'll give you an example. I had this situation of this friend I was talking to, and based on the conversations we was having over the last month or so, whatever, they portrayed themselves in one way, and then through a couple turns of events, I found out that that's not what was going on. And I know that's real vague. I'm not really going to get into what all happened, but I'm just saying, when you pay attention to somebody when they talking to you and you pay attention to what they actually saying, when that shit start not to add up, it becomes obvious, and you have to look at, okay, this and this was a lie. My first thought is, all right, what else they lying about? Then you start to find out who you really dealing with. So all I'm saying is, try not to put yourself in a situation where when you find out who you're really dealing with, it's too late. You know what I mean? So, Danae, don't worry about me. Like I said, anything I got going on, your boy Reese gonna handle it one way or the other. So, but I do appreciate you looking out for me. That's what's up. But nah, I'm good. Like I said, Danae, in this particular situation, I think you should keep your mouth shut and keep it pushing. They ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't gonna change your life either way, whatever the outcome is. Like I said, you might feel some kind of way about it because you know the shit ain't right, but at this point, it ain't really your place to say something. And you know, they ass need to stop looking through people's phones. That's how I feel about that as far as I'm concerned. All right, so let's get on to the next. Actually, before I get on to the next one, I just want to say something too. I just want to remind y'all of something I said while I was reading that last email. I know exactly who Danae is, which is why I can say some of the things I said in response to that email. However, don't think that I won't speak my mind whether I fucking know you or not. Doesn't really matter. That's the whole point. Is that I'm going to say what I'm going to say the way I want to say it when I want to say it. If you don't like it, feel floored, motherfucker. You ain't got to listen to it. And that don't mean that I'm angry. I'm not angry at all. I'm actually in a pretty good mood. So, anyway, let's get to the next one. So, the next one says, hello, AFAIC. I'm Jamie from Blue Ridge, Virginia. I was recently introduced to your podcast and am only about 10 episodes in and loving it so far. Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate that. It says, I noticed while listening to the episodes when you have female guests on, you always introduce the female guests as the beautiful followed by their name, which is great. But since we can't see them, I'm wondering if you will ever add video to your podcast so we can all see what you see. Just curious. Jamie. And then it says, P.S. How do I order shirts? All right. So I actually been asked that question multiple times about possibly adding video to the podcast. And part of me wants to, but part of me don't want to. A lot of it has to do with, just like me, a lot of people that have appeared on this podcast, it was the first time they ever did something like that. And as you know, somebody might have a drink or something. Somebody might puff something or something while this podcast is going on to get them in the right mindset, to get them more comfortable where they talking, I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? So I guess what I'm getting at is the issue I'm having, or the fight I'm having with myself about doing video, is that obviously I want to keep having guests on this podcast, but what I don't want to do is make it an uncomfortable situation where, like, some people are really fucked up by the microphone being in front of them, and they're fine while the microphone is off, but as soon as I hit that record button, it's a whole different thing. I've seen it happen multiple times, but I also feel like some of those same people that's been on here before, that, you know, some of them will be back on, some of them won't make the cut, but I never want to make it a situation where the people that take time out of their day or whatever to appear on this podcast with me, I never want to make it where it's a more uncomfortable situation than it needs to be. And to be honest with you, some of the motherfuckers wouldn't come on here if you were able to see them anyway. So let's be real about that. There's quite a few that I don't think I could pay to appear on this podcast the same way they do without video, if there was video included. I'd like to, like, I really would like to, because, you know, being able to see the actions or expressions of some people when we talking about certain things or whatever, fucking priceless. But, you know, I'm not completely saying that it won't happen. I'm just saying, for me, I have to figure out the right formula to make it happen, but not lose what this podcast is about at the same time. Because I can see where somebody's on and they freezing up, or like basically trying to dodge the camera and shit like that. Like, I don't want that. Like, I've had people try to tell me, you know, which way I should do this podcast. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really give a fuck what they think. That's why it's my podcast. But what I don't want to do is change it in any way that's not going to benefit the people that's listening to it, whether that be what we're talking about or genuine reactions to things, genuine conversation. Like, I don't want any of that to change. So will there be video for this podcast? There's 50-50 right there. I'm not sure yet. I might move into that later on, but right now I like it the way it is. So now I will tell you, and this is going to be the first time I'm mentioning this, so whoever listening to this episode on this day, you the first ones to hear this. So speaking of the video aspect in the podcast, there's a good chance that myself, as far as I'm concerned with Reese Ross podcast, and Cool Breeze Media might end up putting a joint podcast together. And I can tell you, I won't go into what that podcast might be about or the concept of that podcast. What I can tell you is June D from Cool Breeze, I know he likes to go 100% with whatever he doing, and I know that that means that that podcast, if and when it happens, that podcast will almost definitely have video for it. Personally, I don't see him wanting to do it any other way. It might even be a case where, like I said, I don't know when this venture is going to take off or if it's going to take off, but if it does, video for, as far as I'm concerned, podcast might not take place until after the other podcast that may potentially happen. So with, as far as I'm concerned, you got 50-50 shot that I'll end up with video on this podcast. It just depends on who I have on and, you know, what people are comfortable with and stuff like that, because I don't have to explain, you know, if you're on video, you ain't hiding nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I also think for this podcast, it would be real fun for y'all to be able to see what I see. Like when somebody get asked an uncomfortable question, or somebody get asked a question that they don't necessarily like, and they make that little face at you and they suck their teeth a little bit, like, why you asked me that? I personally think that should be funny as hell for y'all to see too. Just so, you know, when somebody started laughing, which seemingly out of nowhere, no, it's always for a reason. It just, it's not obvious as far as the audio is concerned. So there's a good chance that I might do it. I'm leaning more and more towards it for different reasons. But if this second podcast gets off the ground, like I said, I'm almost 100% certain that one will have video, so y'all keep an eye out for that. Like I said, I can't give a whole lot of specifics or a whole lot of details right now because things are still simmering in the pot. You know what I'm saying? We just ain't ready to serve it yet, but when we get to it, y'all be the first to know in advance before it comes out. And of course, that'll have merch and shit. You know, it'll have an email line where you can send things in. So it's going to be a lot of aspects of that podcast that might bleed over to this one or vice versa. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And then, Jamie, the last thing that I'm going to say is, you said, how do you order shirts and stuff? You said you about 10 episodes in. I'm pretty sure, and I'm going to go with, I'm definitely sure, at the end of every one of my podcasts, I give you the email address. If you want shirts or hats or shot glasses or whatever it is, if you want, as far as I'm concerned, merch, I always give you the email address, which is afaicpod@gmail.com. Yo, you write in there to me, you tell me what you want, I'll get back at you to get the specifics. We'll get it out to you, no problem. So keep that in mind. All right, so I don't know why lately that question about video keeps coming up when people ask me about this podcast and stuff like that. And I just want to address something else. I had a pretty good run of making sure that I got the podcast out at roughly a certain time, you know, roughly on the same day and stuff like that. It's been a little bit erratic lately, but like I said, your boy got shit going on. That shit got to get handled before I do this shit, you know what I mean? So I'm going to put out what I can put out. People are starting to act scared about coming on because they listened and heard somebody say something. Yo, don't be scared. Like, it's a little bit harder, and I promise you I'm not complaining, but it's a little bit harder when you're doing this by yourself because everything depends on you. So, like, as far as having guests on, which I love doing, I'm actually not a huge fan of doing this by myself, but you know, it's just like anything else. In order to have somebody on, your schedule got to match up with their schedule. You know what I'm saying? What day is good for them versus what day is good for you. It's just not always an easy thing. And I'm sure I could have more people on more often, but the problem with that is I won't beg anybody to come on here. You know, you got me, for real, you got me asking you once, maybe 2 times about coming on here, and then I'm not going to ask you again. So some of the people that I wanted on here, you know, I asked them, kept giving me bullshit answers or just not giving me an answer at all. So I'm not going to keep asking, but I want who I have on here at least to be quality to me, for me to feel like I'm talking to somebody that I want to talk to versus just trying to fill the seat with a body and a voice. You know what I mean? So I definitely won't just have anybody on, but I try to work on making sure I have people on that's going to be interesting for me and you, because you listening to the shit, but I'm sitting here talking to this person, and I'm pretty sure if that person is not at least interesting to me, you'll probably be able to hear it in my voice when I'm talking to them, because that means I'm talking to them, but it's not because I can't wait to talk to them and hear what they got to say. It's because, fuck, they on here now. I got to finish this, but these motherfuckers is boring as hell. Having said that, to anybody else, Jamie, you included, if you feel like you got something interesting to talk about, or you know what I'm saying, you want to come on and just have some fun and talk about what the fuck ever, if you got a subject, and this is something else, if you got a specific subject that you really want to talk about, as long as it's not fucking politics or religion, we cool. But if you got something you want to talk about and you've listened to this podcast so you know how the conversation is going to go, hit me up. If we can make it happen, if you interesting to me and I think what you got to say is interesting, hit me up, let me know what it is, and then we'll go from there. I don't know you want to be here unless you tell me you want to be here. So keep that in mind. Now you don't have no excuses. All right, so we're going to go on and get on with it. And Jamie, again, I appreciate you writing in. This next one, and I think it's going to be the last one because my drink almost gone. I don't feel like getting up to make another one. So we'll jump right into this one. This one says, "Hey, Reese, my name is Tasha. I'm writing you from Axton, Virginia." What's up, Tasha? I'm sorry. It says, "I'm new to listening to podcasts other than true crime, but I'm very pleased with this one. It's good to hear." Oh, I'm sorry. It says, "It's good to hear somebody say what they thinking with seemingly no regards." So it says, "I figured I would throw something your way and see what your feeling was on it." So I figured I would throw something your way and see what your feelings was on it. And she says, "So I decided to try or to give online dating a try just to meet people, really. In doing so, I heard the episode that you mentioned this very thing, so I want to know if you can give your new friend you just found out about some pointers on how to meet normal people and not get murdered. LOL." And it says, "Thanks so much. Keep it up, Tasha." All right, Tasha. So, yeah, I did. I think it was in either episode 37 or 38. And I was doing a podcast with somebody and we did touch on online dating. I think they gave some examples of things that happened with people they met online and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I'm not sure why you asking my advice on online dating, because first of all, I find it, a lot of it's kind of humorous. Just some of the things, and I said this before, some of the things that people say, or really what strikes me when you read somebody's profile on online dating, and I think I mentioned this before, they talking about they ain't for no games, they don't want no BS, they want somebody to keep it 100% with them and all this shit, but all their pictures be filtered. They be talking about they love the international travel, knowing good and well they ain't been out of Virginia before, or whatever. Like, I just find that funny, but I don't know. I mean, I guess one pointer I could give you is, just don't immediately go meet somebody, I guess. I shouldn't have to tell you this, I don't think, but I'm just saying, like, try to get to know the person you trying to get to know as much as you can get to know them before you go get to know them. You know what I mean? That is how you get murdered. You end up on Dateline or some shit. I guess it's real easy to get caught up in this particular person is attractive to you, or maybe they saying all the shit that you really want to hear, but just be safe. You know what I mean? Make sure that you're aware of the situation you're getting yourself into. If you can figure that out ahead of time, you can avoid a lot of extra shit too. Obviously, there's no real way to know exactly what you want to know about somebody until you actually meet them. So it's up to you to decide when it's comfortable for you, when it's safe for you, that type thing. Like, now, having said that, for those who do use online, I'm not saying that every person you talk to is up to no good. Not all of us are, but I'm just saying, like I said, make sure you know who you're meeting with. Make sure you know what you're getting into. Hell, make sure you know what what they expect when y'all do meet. You know what I'm saying? It's simple shit. I shouldn't have to tell you that. As far as the not getting murdered part, I mean, I can't really help you with that. Like, there's no good information I can give you about trying not to get murdered. I mean, I guess don't put yourself in a situation where you can get murdered. You know what I'm saying? But look, on the real, if you do go meet somebody, make sure at least somebody know where you're going, or you make it easy for somebody to figure out where you went if necessary. Like, simple shit. Again, I shouldn't have to tell you this. I don't know how old you are. Regardless of how old you are, I shouldn't have to tell you this. Just stay safe. You know what I mean? Like, online dating is cool, but I guess it depends on who the person is. Some people like to see people's face when they talking to them. Some people would rather not see it. Whatever. Just, there's nothing wrong with it. It's great for some people. Don't really work for other people. But I mean, that's the only real pointers I can give you. There's nothing I can tell you that already don't know about talking to people online and potentially meeting them, and what all information you actually giving them. Like, just don't be a dumbass. Like, if somebody asks you for your address and you've been talking to them for 2 days, that's probably a no, or as they call it, a red flag. Like, just be mindful of what you saying and who you saying it to and what information you giving them. It's that simple, you know what I mean? All I'm saying is, as far as I'm concerned, be safe and protect yourself, you know what I mean? And with that, before I get out of here, because like I said, my drink is almost gone. Correction, it is gone. So I just want to give a shout out to somebody real quick. It's my girl, Kelly. Kelly recently, her father passed away. I think it was last week, I believe it was. And, you know what I'm saying? I know she hurting, so if y'all could send y'all's thoughts and prayers to her and trying to get through this situation as easy as possible. Shit like that is rough, and everybody need to be picked up from time to time. So, Kelly, we all got your back as far as I'm concerned. And with that, I'm your boy, Rhys Ross. If you want that merch, if you got opinions, you got stories, or whatever you want to be on the show, hit me up, afaicpod@gmail.com, and I'm going to holler at you. I'm out. Peace.
As far as I'm concerned, this shit is over.